we being priced out of the Black Series? So Hasbro's been implementing some price hikes as of late, and I thought it would be interesting to throw my hat in the ring and give my 2 cents, my thoughts about it. I've seen a lot of people up in a tizzy over a $3 to $7 increase in action figures, when all across the board in the economy right now, everything's gone up. Everything is expensive. There's been increase in prices across the board, not just in action figures, but I've seen a lot of people really upset about this whole kerfuffle with Hasbro doing the price hikes and such. But in my opinion, over a span of 13 years where the line started out at $19.99 and it's just now getting to the point where it's $28, I feel like an $8 increase is not that bad for 8 years' time, especially considering inflation. About the time of 2020, what $20 was worth in 2020 now is worth, like, I think it's 25 or something like that. So for Hasbro to go that long without implementing those price increases even sooner than that, I feel like is a testament to the longevity of that line. And me personally speaking, I'd like to see this line continue for another 5-10 years if it could. You know what I'm saying? If they really trickle it out right and give us the right sculpts and paint apps and increase the quality and keep giving us what we want character selection wise, I really feel like this line could go for quite some time. But like I said, I'm very curious if you're in that same boat. Are you being priced out of the Black Series? Are you going to be done with collecting with this price hike? Are you going to be more selective, or is this not going to phase you at all? Let me know down in the comments how this is going to affect your collecting habits. I'm very interested. And one of the first things that we could talk about is cost versus quality. And the thing about that is we're going to be paying more money, but are we going to be getting more in the package? Are we going to be seeing more paint apps? Are we going to be seeing more intense, highly detailed sculpts? Are we going to be seeing a higher character selection, more time and effort dedicated to new sculpts, not just new Disney new media? So it's a very interesting question, that's for sure. But if the price hike leads to us getting better quality and less corner cutting and stuff like that, then it could be worth it. But if we're paying more for the same product, which is essentially what's going on right now, unfortunately, where nothing's really changing. We're not getting more accessories. We're not getting. Don't get me wrong. I love the Black Series. I really enjoy what they have accomplished and what they do in the line already. But don't get me wrong. It sucks having to pay more. I'm not happy about it. But I'm not going to let a $3 to $5, $7 increase stop me from doing what I love and collecting cool stuff. Like, I'm just not gonna. If that prices you out, everybody's financial strains and situations are all different. We all have different factors in life, and that's fine. If it prices you out, I'm very sorry to hear that. But me personally, I'm not gonna let less than $10 put me out of a hobby that I really, really enjoy. Will I be more selective about what I pick up? Yeah, sure, perhaps. You know, I'm not a completionist by any means already. Otherwise, this room would be even way more filled up than it already is. You know, I kind of feel like I really already concentrate on stuff that I really like. Every once in a while, I'll see something that's cool, grab it, rule of cool pickups. But just going back to that, there's nothing changed about the Black Series. We're not getting more accessories, or it's the same old soft goods, same paint apps, photo road technology, although awesome. We're not getting anything more with this price increase. So that being said, it is a little bit of a bummer on that side of things. Another talking point is the sticker shock, for a sticker shock collector syndrome as far as it goes. And for people that, if you're not aware what sticker shock is, it's basically like the sticker price, the price point of what most collectors or the consumer would be out, where the demand is going to drop. They're like, nope, that's too much for me. I can't, that's out of my budget, out of my range, whatever the case may be. So sticker shock is also something that I feel like is important to talk about, because at the end of the day, value is kind of subjective. I mean, there's certain bullet points that you can hit. Like, does it come with a lot of accessories? Is it made with good materials, good resources? Is it got a lot of paint on it? Is the articulation very nice? Has it got a high piece count? All that goes into consideration. Does it have soft goods? Distributing it, getting it made, put together, all assembled, all that stuff. It all adds up in the grand plan at the end of the day, and it goes into the price of us the consumer consuming the product, you know. But how much more are people going to be willing to pay? Now, like I said, value is very subjective. for me, just recently, for instance, GameStop, for figures that would be $24.99, I recently paid $30 for both Anakin and Obi-Wan, the recent 2025 Revenge of the Sith releases. Granted, those are two characters, they're prequel trilogy characters. I will pay that. I will bite the bullet because that's stuff that I want to support and that I want to see the line do. So those are, to me, the value is worth it there, and I'm fine with paying that. And honestly, not that I'm happy about paying $5 more for my Anakin and Obi-Wan, but I'm satisfied with them, and I'm very pleased. And I'm going to have them for the rest of my life on my shelf and be able to fiddle with and play with and pose and interact and interpret lines and, all that good stuff. It's going to bring me back to Revenge of the Sith and whatever other media, show, video game you're collecting and after, But, so sticker shock is definitely something that's going to vary from collector to collector because, like I said, like I keep saying, value at the end of the day, although you have those bullet points where you can go off and like, okay, this clearly is not worth the value, but it's worth it to me because of the nostalgia and love, or I just think it's really cool and I want it that bad, and I'm willing to pay a little bit extra to have it, Whereas some people were like, I'm not really that into it. For $50 extra, I'm going to have to pass. Whereas some people were like, $50 extra, no questions asked. I want it now. Everybody's different. That's why, at the end of the day, value is subjective. So I'm curious as to what the sticker shock price point is going to be for a lot of Black Series collectors, because it seems like even when they were bumping up to $26.99, $25.99, because obviously even on places like Big Bad, they hike the price up $1 or $2 just so they can make their money too, even though they have the flat rate $4 shipping, yada yada. It's still a talking point that I feel like should be brought up, and I'm very curious as I want to hear y'all's input too. For anybody that's watching this, what is your sticker shock price? What is the most you're willing to pay for a Black Series or TVC figure? And we're going to get into the price hikes on those in just a minute here as well. So now getting on to the main topic of the video is the price hikes themselves. So Hasbro is implementing. At first it was just, kind of hearsay from different forums like Jedi Insider, Yak Face forums, which are both very credible and knowledgeable. And shout out to both those websites as well, and creators, whatever. But I believe now that Hasbro and other certain fan channels, if Yak Face is saying something that you can pretty much guarantee, he's very, very credible. Obviously, at the end of the day, it is all hearsay, but if you see Yak Face or like Jedi Insider or Geek Dad posting about it, it's probably pretty legit. But Black Series figures going from $24.99 to a $3 increase up to $27.99. So that's $28 for standard Black Series. There's your $3 increase. And that's what I feel like a lot of people are kind of pitching an unnecessary fit. Does it suck? Yeah. If you buy $30, here, hold on. Sorry, I was just trying to pull up my calculator here. So let's say you buy 30 figures a year. You times that by 3. You're essentially paying now. Don't get me wrong. That's $90. $90 more a year. So that's about, depending on what figures you buy, that's about 3.5 almost 4 Black Series figures, which definitely does make a difference. But you're already in the hobby. You're already invested in it. What you're really going to let $90 more? Like I said, if you're buying 30 figures a year, that $3 increase, you're spending $90 more than you would have originally. Does that suck? Yes, of course it does. But at the end of the day, are you really going to let $90? And now some people, 30 figures is nothing to some people. People buy a lot more than that. I'm guilty of that. I've bought way more than that in a year. But even still, make sure this mic's on. Yeah, because I've done this videos where my mic hasn't on and I have to redo them. That sucks. But yeah, $90. It definitely sucks. It's not something that I'm thrilled about. But at the end of the day, we're doing this for the enjoyment of it. And we all have budgets. We all have financial responsibilities and obligations, and that is definitely something that comes into consideration, of course. But this is a hobby. It's supposed to be fun. You're supposed to enjoy it. If you're going to let $90, $100, some people will pay that for some in streams and memberships for other shit. About $100 extra a year, I just don't feel like it's that big of a deal. I feel like some people are really just like throwing it way out of proportion. They're like, you're still going to McDonald's and buying the same Happy Meal that it was. Happy Meals have gotten more expensive, but it's not like a bigger burger or more fries. It's the same shit that it was 5-10 years ago, but you're still buying it, you're still eating it, putting it in your mouth. So like, I don't understand why people get so in a tizzy over action figures. It really just, ever since I've gotten into this hobby and on YouTube, I've seen people throw literal tantrum fits over the price of toys and just toys in general, other topics and stuff, and it's just not serious. I'm very passionate about what I collect, and I'm glad that other people are too. But if you're getting to the point where you're like crashing out about it, you're just taking it too seriously, man. It's not worth all that effort and energy. You're supposed to be having fun. It's supposed to be joyful and take stress away, not stress you out more. That's so backwards. I never understand that. And people are like bitching about Marvel Legends and this and that. It's like, why are you even collecting that? Like, why are you even buying these action figures if you're just going to complain about every single one that you get? Point out what you don't like about it. That's fine. Talk about it. But like, don't just talk about what you hate. And I didn't hear you say a word about what was good about it or why you even bought it, other than hearing you talk shit about it. It gets really old to me, and it's surprising to me. Like I said, it's actually, it's 1:34 in the morning, Thursday, October 16, 2025. Today is actually the 2-year anniversary of my channel. So about 2 years into the community, the toy community and YouTube, I've definitely seen some people go a little haywire. Continuing on, the Black Series Deluxe packs are going from $33.99, which was the standard for Deluxe, up to $40, $39.99, which, that, I ain't gonna lie, that stings. That definitely sucks, and I'm not happy about it. That tell you what, that's gonna make me a whole lot more selective with what I'm buying, especially when it comes to Deluxe figures. Like, I love SM33, that's an awesome figure. But if I gotta pay $40 for SM33, I'm probably gonna pay Kalnaka. I love that figure as well. I'm not paying $40 for Kalnaka. I'm sorry. That's my sticker shock. That's when I'm like, oof, damn, almost $50 for a freaking Hasbro figure. Like, now granted, I love those figures. They're fantastic figures, but for $50, I could put that towards a really awesome third-party figure like Nanmu or Creative Beast Studio or something, you know? Or even get a really nice NECA or a Mando figure. The list goes on. Even that's 2/3 or half of a SH Figure Arts, depending on what figure you're looking at. But that's a $6 increase. That sucks. That definitely sucks. And man, it stings. I'm not even going to try to play it light or sugarcoat it. It sucks. It really does suck. But the fact that Hasbro has waited so long to implement these price changes, I feel like is, again, just a testimony to their longevity of their brand. And obviously Hasbro has their hands in numerous licenses and IPs, way more than just Star Wars. Star Wars being one of the biggest, of course. It's just, you know, like I said, at the end of the day, like a Momo Dawn, that's a deluxe figure that I would bite the bullet for. I wouldn't be happy paying $40. I'm not happy about it. I was fine with paying deluxe price $33.99 for Momo Dawn. It's a fantastic. Where is my Momo? Right here. I love this figure so much. This is a fantastic figure. I love it. This was my mascot for my channel for quite a while when I first started up my channel. It was like my first little logo that I ever made. But it's a fantastic figure, and I wouldn't want to pay $40 for that figure, but I would because of nostalgia. Because it's worth it to me. I can see like, it's got some awesome paint. It's a sculpt, brand new alien character, original trilogy alien character. I would bite the bullet for something like that. But for something like Kalnaka, like New Media, where I enjoyed Acolyte, wasn't my favorite thing. There's just like I said, going to become a whole lot more selective going forward if this is going to be the new norm, which it is. It's going to be. It sucks to say, but that's just going to. It just is what it is. And at this point, I just feel like as a collector, without overcomplicating it, to put it simply, you're either in or you're out. Like it's really that simple. You're either gonna collect or you're not, or you're gonna be selective about what you buy. You're like, all right, new Jango Fett, I'm buying that figure. I'm in. Or like new Count Dooku, I'm like, whatever the case may be. But it sucks. It sucks. So some Black Series 2-packs have been listed at as low as $40, $39.99, which is $20 per figure, which a lot of the times they're usually older figures or like older molds, so it's just a reuse, it's just a re-release of a figure that's already in the line, so that's why they can do it for cheaper than below retail. Some other ones were also $44.99, which is still below. It's $250 per figure below retail. It's $5 off. But now it's a $7 increase. I know, it sucks. It sucks. $46.99 slash $51.99. So $47 to $52 for a 2-pack. For 2 figures, that's one that I can kind of bite the bullet on. Like $7, that's about $3.50 per figure that you're paying extra. We're already seeing the $3 increase with the standard Black Series release. So for the normal 2-pack, now the 50, you start approaching that 52 mark, you start getting, that's obviously that's above $3.50, you know. But the $7 increase, it definitely sucks. It's not fun. I'm not happy about it, but end of the day, it's just going to make you more selective. And hell, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing that it makes us all more selective, so we're not as enticed to buy stuff that we don't really want on our shelf, and it'll make us concentrate on what we're really focused and honed in on and we really have nostalgia and passion for. Now this is where things get interesting. I'm not a huge vintage collection TVC collector, but I do own a few vehicles and a few figures. But in my opinion, I thought $16.99 was too much for a 3 3/4. Again, certain characters, original trilogy, prequel trilogy, you bite the bullet, you do what needs to be done to support the line and show Hasbro what we want as collectors, what we want to see more of in the line. But now we're going to be going from a $16.99 price point to $19.99. While that is only $3, is the same as the Black Series. For a 3 3/4 figure, in my opinion, $16.99 was kind of pushing it. $20 for a 3 3/4 figure, that's kind of crazy. That's kind of nuts to me, man, to be quite honest with you. And now, some people are like, you know what, I love my 3 3/4. Nothing's going to stop me from collecting it, which is, that's how I am with the Black Series. I'm not going to let $3 for a standard Black Series stop me from collecting it. I really enjoy this hobby, and it's done a lot for me. It's brought me out of a very dark place, and I've met a lot of cool people and made a lot of great, I hope to be lifelong friends from this hobby that I'm very thankful to know now, you know? So while it does suck, there are some 3 3/4 fans out there, 3 3/4 fans out there that are just be like, you know, it is what it is. I'm just gonna have to suck it up. They'll be more selective as well. And for $20, dude, I'm just like, I don't know, man. For a 3 3/4, that's just, I don't know. I just can't really wrap my head around that. That's a little wild to me, to be quite honest with you. And then continuing on here, the Vintage Collection Deluxe Series or any kind of multi-packs or like special sets or whatever, usually they would be, you know, about at least $24.99 on a deluxe, sometimes a little bit more, maybe like $28, going up to $27.99 or higher. So that's also a $3 increase for TVC Deluxe packs as well, which is, again, man, it stings. It stings to be reading and seeing all this. You know, obviously this is off Yak Face Jedi Insider. This is Hasbro's even kind of directly, they've been updating their prices on Pulse from what I understand. So it's happening. This is here to stay. It's not changing, you know, and it's only a matter of time, man. With Yak Face has already mentioned that, like I just said, he's already mentioned that Hasbro Pulse is already implementing the new price changes. It's not just for upcoming figures either, but it's also for ones that have already been in stock. Now, from what I understand, if you've pre-ordered figures at a certain price, I'm pretty sure places like Target, Amazon, and Hasbro Pulse, they honor those pre-order prices. They'll honor the price that you click, whatever price it was when you clicked that pre-order button. They're going to sell it to you for that price. But a lot of those figures have changed. Like I said, even the in-stock are up for pre-order ones. Galactic Figures actually ran a Hasbro increases prices for TVC and Black Series article. So if you want to know a little bit even more, head over to Galactic Figures website. I really enjoy getting, I like Yak Face, I like Bantha Skull. Like I was just saying, Galactic Figures is also another great way to look up action figure news, especially Star Wars, that being said. But Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of been a long time coming. The fact that it hasn't happened already, it's just kind of, I feel like it should be talked about more. I feel like it kind of doesn't really get enough credit for how Hasbro has kept these prices so low for so long. And now, obviously, a lot of the speculation and commentary online and from the community, the toy community and YouTube and such, it's just the way of the times. Rising manufacturer costs, rising costs of raw materials, the resources, shipping, distribution, inflation. There's just so many factors that have major implications and it's a domino effect. It affects everything, you know. I think this is just kind of solidifying the sentiment that this is going to cause a lot of collectors to either opt out and they're going to be priced out, they're going to be more selective, or they're just going to continue to be all in and not even worry about it, you know, because there are some of those people out there too, the shills, as some people call them, you know. But people work hard for their own money. I'm not going to judge how they want to spend it. It's their fucking money. So obviously at this point, with Yak Face, Jedi Insider, Galactic Figures.com, it's pretty solidifying evidence that this is here to stay, and it's affecting multiple tiers, whether it's a standard release, deluxe releases, special releases, exclusives. It's affecting multiple avenues of the line. Something that I feel like a lot of people fail to mention is inflation, and that affects everything. That affects cost of raw materials, the parts that they produce themselves, paint, distribution, getting shipping. It all affects everything. Something else that people overlook a lot is just the labor itself. You got to think the QC, everything that goes into the QC, the quality control. People are overlooking these figures, also applying paint, assembling these figures. They have to get paid too. And now, if the prices go up for that, where their wages go up, or there's overhead value, that's going to affect the price of these action figures, because the people who are putting them together and painting them and getting them distributed and shipped out to us as a consumer, their wages go up. That's going to affect the price of the product that they're working on and manufacturing and assembling, etc., producing everything. Not to mention that fuel has gone up, the cost of shipping containers has gone up. And I've worked in a warehouse. I've been working since I was about 15, 16, 17. I was on a roof helping my stepfather. Now, it wasn't a job, but I got my first actual job. I've been working since I was 18, and I've always been in a warehouse environment. And I can tell you from a logistics standpoint, there's just so much that goes in to receiving product, inventory, and keeping inventory of the product, and then distributing it and shipping the product. There's just so much to it that people just have no idea. And it's more than people give it credit for and don't talk about it enough. Freight is not cheap, and transportation costs is a huge factor. Like I said, the fuel, the people who are getting paid to drive it and move it around. That's a lot of product to get shipped around, whether it's overseas on a boat in a shipping container or on a pallet in the back of a truck. That person's got to get paid, and what they're using to get it there has to get fueled and taken care of and maintained, etc., etc. It goes on. And something else that people don't think about is the stuff that the boxes, the actual packaging that the figures come in, that also has a cost to it as well. The cost of the plastic, the window, the cost of the actual cardboard itself, all the ink and color that goes onto the cardboard. That there's just so much to making action figures that people just don't understand or give enough credit for. You know what I'm saying? Even for Hasbro, $1 billion mass-produced toy company, it's still a hell of an operation to pull off. And Hasbro, as annoying as they can be, and as many of the questionable choices as they all make, as me personally as a collector, I know it's very frustrating what they do sometimes. You cannot crack their hustle, man. Hasbro is on their game. And I know Hasbro is a $1 billion corporation. Like, I understand that. I'm not trying to defend the big money-making corporation by any means. If anything, they should throw us a bone. Us as the consumer, the collectors, we're the ones that keep them afloat. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if you don't want something, you don't need to buy it. If you're buying stuff that you don't want, you're just showing Hasbro that you want that kind of stuff. So they're going to keep producing it. Whereas if we buy what we do want, that's the kind of stuff that they're going to produce. what you do with your wallet, where you spend your money, that's like your vote in the economy. They're going to make more of what you buy. It's just the nature of things. And now obviously Hasbro is just trying to keep somewhat of a profit margin going here. So I feel like they're also, with the cost of everything, like I just said, whether it's shipping for freight, fuel, the cost of the raw materials itself, the paint, the packaging, all the other things that I listed, that's only 6 of the many other things that there's so many factors that go in that people just do not think about. They're so oblivious and just don't acknowledge what all it truly takes to get these figures produced in a box, shipped to us, and on our shelf. There's just so much that goes into it that deserves more recognition and credit and respect, honestly. So in the midst of all those other factors and cost pressures, Hasbro's got to adjust their prices so they can keep up. Because if they're not making money, guess what? We don't get more new figures. We don't get new skulls. We don't get extra paint apps. We don't get new accessories. We don't get awesome soft goods. We don't get awesome new packaging for different sublines and color. We don't get any of that. We don't get any of that if they're losing money. But as long as they're making money, that's more money that they have to implement with new tooling for figures, new accessories, all the things I just said. All that money, the extra money that they make goes into the line. It goes into the line. Granted, like I just said, put all the other outside aggravations aside, all the questionable, frustrating things that Hasbro may do from time to time, and think about, at the end of the day, a lot of us are surrounded in rooms or with shelves loaded down with Hasbro products. You know what I'm saying? So we might as well do what we can to make Hasbro make the best shit that we can, you know? And with there being so many action figure lines out there, the competition is just becoming more and more fierce. Something that I mentioned earlier, the sticker shock ceiling. This is something that I actually had to give my buddy Hyperdrive Collections, my co-host of the Stone and Hyper Show, my good buddy, my good friend. I had to give him recognition and credit on this. He actually said this about 8 months ago, maybe even a year ago, about the rumors, the little hints and rumors amongst the community that the prices were going to end up going up. We were going to see price hikes all along the board when it comes to the Black Series, or even just many Marvel Legends, all lines, Mattel, whatever the case may be. He said something about, even with he was in reference to the Maximum line. Before the Maximum Hulk even came out, it was just Maximum Spider-Man. He was like, Hasbro's doing this so they're testing the boundaries to see what collectors, what they're willing to spend, what's the max they're willing to spend before they lose the rope, before they lose the bait, and they kind of go off the trail. He always said that they were kind of like putting their toes in the water, seeing what they could test price-wise, and I thought that was very interesting. And then here we are now, like I said, 8 months, a year later, and the price hikes are here, and it seems like they're here to stay. So they're pushing that envelope just to see how much more can they ask for these figures before they really start seeing a hit in the sales, before it really just absolutely drops and plummets. So I feel like we're starting to see that effect. And obviously my buddy Hyper, he's been collecting for 30, 40 years. He's seen a thing or two, and he's seen lines come and go. He's seen lines come and stay. So I've always hung out with an older crowd. You got to listen to your elders, man, to the cool old cats. They're knowledgeable and around for a reason, you know. And everything that Hyper was saying a couple months ago, it's kind of ringing true now. And I feel like even the Maximum series with Marvel Legends is a perfect example of that. The Hulk and Spider-Man, that's kind of them seeing, can we throw in more accessories and charge another $20, $25, $15? And I think that's what they're doing. I think that's really the direction that they're going. Another thing about the price increases is Hasbro's already done this. When they implemented the deluxe the deluxe subline in 2019, figures like Grievous and such, they believe he might have been the first deluxe figure, if I'm not mistaken. Those retailed for $30, where at the time in 2019, figures were still $19.99. So that was $10 more for a deluxe figure. So as we had already seen price increases in the line before, you know, so it was, I just don't understand why people get on a tizzy. They like, this is like, Hasbro's never done this before, or like they just keep doing it. They've done it over a span of 13 years, and there's been like 3 or 4 price increases of a couple dollars. I don't feel like that's really that shabby in my opinion. So those are my thoughts on the price increase that Hasbro is implementing. Like I said at the beginning of the video, me personally, I'm not gonna let $3 to $7 price me out of collecting Black Series and a hobby that I enjoy. I'm just not gonna let it happen. I'm not gonna allow it. If you are, then that's fine. But if you're throwing an absolute fit, like I've seen some people online, like in certain Reddit threads, and I'm just like, dude, I'll be reading some stuff, y'all, and I'm just like, good gracious, these people have issues if they're this upset over fucking plastic fucking toys. Like, it's a little ridiculous. Like, y'all clearly have not had enough happen to y'all in y'all's life where y'all are throwing this much of a tantrum over fucking toys. I love action figures. Don't get me wrong. I'm surrounded with them. I got so much shit in here, y'all. I'm very passionate about whatever I do, whether it's music, whether it's weightlifting, whether it's collecting action figures. When I do something, I am all fucking in, dude. That's the kind of person I am. I'm very passionate, very obsessed, very infatuated. When I get into something, I get into something. So, like I said, $3 to $10 is just not. It's just not going to stop me. I'm not going to let it. It just doesn't. It sucks. Like, I'm not happy about it. Like I've said numerous times. I know you're probably hearing, like, all right, Stone, we get it. You're like, you said that. But like, I just want to. I've seen so many people just losing their shit over these price increases, and they act like this is the first time it's happened. This has happened before other times, and it's not even that bad. It's like I said earlier, you're still paying for your Happy Meals that you like. Everything has gone up. Groceries have gone up. Gas has gone up. Cameras have gone up. Phones have gone up. Everything. It's how the economy works. Prices are always guaranteed to go up and never down. That's just the way of the world, unfortunately. That's the way that the economy, the way that our system is rigged, and the way it works. But I just, without me getting too yappy here, I just wanted to give my thoughts and opinions on these price hikes. Me personally, it sucks. I don't see it as big of a deal as some people are making it out to be. I'm not thrilled about it. I'm not jumping up and down like, yeah, I get to pay more for my action figure. No, of course fucking not. Like, I'm fucking pissed about it, but like, for people to be like, just berating other people for like being like, it's not a big deal, just bananas to me. Bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-N. You know, no stat, whatever Gwen Stefani said. But let me wrap it up here before I yap on any longer. Let me know how y'all feel. Are y'all getting priced out of the Black Series? Is it getting to a point for you where you're seeing your sticker shock value where you're like, nope, too high, I'm out? Are you going to be more selective, or are you not changing your habits, or are you just not affecting you at all? I'm very, very curious as to y'all's opinions and input. So hit it up down there in the comments. If you would be so kind as to like the video, I'd really appreciate it if you enjoyed it. Also, subscribe if you're not already. I also have a channel membership called Clan Stone, if you would be so generous as to check that out. I have a couple different tiers available. It's not necessary at all. Just like and watch the comments and subscribe and all that good YouTube shenanigans. Just that alone, I'm extremely, extremely appreciative of. For, like I said, just that alone, it's all that I need. Just going above and beyond for the channel membership. It's nice, but not necessary at all. But with that being said, everybody, thank you so much for making this video a part of your day. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your opinions down in the comments about the Hasbro price hikes, and I will see you all next time. May the Force be with you.